Okay, this is it. This is the Racer X Motocross of Nations preview. I found the perfect person to weigh in. I do want to thank our sponsors here. So I got Motorsport. They help us out. They got a dual sport giveaway right now. Go to motorsport.com/win. You can win a Triumph. You can win a Jeff Stanton Adventure Pack for 2. And every week they give out prizes from different sponsors. I know a guy that would love to do some dual sport riding, and he could do it on a beta. We got Zach Osborne here. I got Engine Ice also on board. We'll talk about them more on the program. Go. We're going to talk MXoN, but what's the beta deal? Give us the update on what you've been doing with those guys.
Yeah, I've been cruising along. Actually, been doing a decent bit of riding, not a ton. Got a couple upcoming events. Going to do the morning race at Ironman. Yeah, some trial stuff, local trial stuff here in Florida. Some Florida Trail Riders Association races. Yeah, just kind of enjoying the ambassador role.
Yeah. You going to be at some races that we see you at some point? What do you think?
Supercross races?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be at some. I don't know when or what yet. I'm sure probably A1 and some East Coast races. You know, always Daytona. It's close to home, so that stuff's pretty simple. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be at some races.
All right. Now look, we're going to talk to nations because there's a couple riders that have like a real special connection to this race, and I know. Weren't you even kicking around the idea of doing this post-retirement if other guys weren't going to show up? That's how badly you liked this or wanted to race this race?
Well, not so much how badly I wanted to race. It was more that was in 2023 when I was doing the year in GNTC, and that was when they were like not going to field a team because they didn't have enough money or whatever the reason was. So I just said, yeah, I'll pay my own way. It's no problem. We're sending a team regardless. Like it's impossible to think that we won in 22 and we're not going to send the team for the number 1, 2, and 3. And so I reached out to the powers that be and said, look, it's no problem. I'll pay my own way. And I'll find myself a decent bike to ride in the process. And yeah, they ended up figuring it out. So I highly doubt that I had any bearing on that. But if I did, then cool.
Well, okay, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say how badly you wanted to race yourself, but that's how big you think this is for America. Like they should never not compete.
Yeah, not only just for America, for the sport in general. I think it's the best race of the year. I think it's realistically the biggest race of the year. Maybe not the most important, but it just has the most viewership from both sides of the pond. The most sort of buzz, in my opinion, other than like A1's pretty buzzy, but yeah, it's such an important race. It's a must.
And you broke the mold as you often do. You've got to be the first guy to ever race for Puerto Rico and then eventually upgrade yourself to the point where you made it on Team USA. Now I know Amart eventually did it also, but you were the first, right?
Yeah. Well, no, Amart would have been before me, I think.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, because he raced in 15 or 16, whenever, what was that? At
Yeah, so
Madrid?
you were on Puerto Rico before him, but he got on Team USA before you. Is that how that would have timed out?
Yeah, that sounds
I think so.
more
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, look, when you raced for Puerto Rico, we didn't even, you were way off the radar. And then you actually rode awesome, I remember. Where was that? Was that in England?
The first one was in England. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a crazy good ride on the Saturday in the qualifying race, past Michael Byrne in the last corner to put us into the show for like Puerto Rico's first A main. So that was a pretty big deal at the time. I was really pretty unknown on any scale, but also especially on the 450, and I rode the 450 there, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Did you think at some point, like, man, maybe I can ratchet myself all the way back up before I race for Team USA?
Well, actually in 2010, I had a decent season, and I thought like at one point maybe there was a chance, that I could be on Team USA, but looking back, I was delusional. And it took so much more to get there than what I thought it would. But
Yeah, there you go. Hey,
yeah,
sometimes you
yeah,
got to have confidence, man. Sometimes you
yeah,
got to believe it.
yeah.
So let's
Take
talk about
me.
what we got going this year. Your expertise, you've ridden the event on both sides bikes, right? Didn't you race 450 at 2019?
Yep, I raced the 450 in 2019 and also in 2008, like I was saying. And then 2010 for Puerto Rico on the 250, and then 17 for USA on the 250.
Yeah, that's when Hunter Lawrence was born for a lot of American fans because you battled him. Okay, so Justin Cooper has to switch. I'm going to start with this. Big deal, not a big deal. Going down to a 250 with about a week to get ready.
I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's really cool. I wish guys did it more. I wish we could take 450 guys
Hmm.
like this more often because I just think they're highly motivated. I think he fits the 250 bill really well size wise. For a bigger guy like Chase or Eli, it's a little tougher. But Justin's a small dude, and I experienced his passion for the event in 2019 when we were teammates in Assen, and for me, it's all about having three guys who want to be there, and when we have that, so I don't think it's a huge deal.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you ever bounce back and forth, but the bikes themselves, it's not a massive adjustment.
Not now, I don't think, and I think that the bike that he's on is really, really good, obviously. There's no question marks there. So yeah, I don't think it's a huge deal. Chassis wise, I think they're pretty similar. Probably has some sort of setting. I'm sure he's probably riding most of what Hayden was racing outdoors, which is totally fine. So yeah, I don't see it as a big issue.
Okay, let's talk about the RJ situation. Now, you probably know RJ decently well. You were teammates for like ever, weren't you?
Yeah, we're pretty tight.
I actually feel like didn't RJ basically sign up for the Zacho program? Like, you went to Husky, you went to Alden, you started winning titles and races constantly, and then I feel like RJ's like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And then we were kind of working together a little bit in 22 whenever, or in 21 whenever I wasn't racing. I was helping him out at the races a little bit, which was a good time. And now our kids go to the same homeschool co-op, and um, we talk quite often. So yeah, I'm stoked for Rick to get to go.
Yeah, okay. So look, some people think in some ways, look, Chase Sexton's an awesome rider and can win motos against anyone at any time. But there was the drama which was building week after week with Sexton's situation. Can you sell me on some level of maybe this is not even like, oh no, Sexton's out, but maybe in some ways this is better? Because the Sexton thing was trending so badly.
Yeah, I can't sell you on it, but I can tell you that I don't hate the position. I think that definitely Justin Cooper in his current capacity is better, in my opinion, than Hayden showing up, you know, even 75, 80% is a bit of a stretch. Like when you're younger, when you're like 12 or 13, you can get by with that. I did it, as a kid, and then as an adult, it's a lot harder. Like, 3, 4 weeks, it still doesn't feel good. Whereas when you're a kid, played a collarbone 2 or 3 weeks and you're pretty dialed. But I will say with RJ's headspace, Justin Cooper's health, I think we're in a fine position still. I don't think there's anything major wrong with it. Like I said, at the end of the day, for me, the most important thing is having three guys that absolutely want to be there, that are there for the team, that are willing to do whatever it takes, and I think we have that. So I don't hate it at all.
I don't even know what to say about Eli Tomac. I'll just give you a minute to talk about Eli.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much that I could say that hasn't been said, right? Like he's proved himself legend status by light years. And I think that, I would argue that he's in that GOAT conversation currently. I don't know that he will be, I don't know that anyone will be when Jett's completely finished. But for now, like Eli's career span and the people that he's beat, the people that he's raced, all the accolades that he's achieved, he's right there at the top of the best ever.
A lot. Also, it says a lot about Jett, what you just said there, which we'll get to in a minute. But look, if you wanted to break this down on paper and made it real simple, you'd be like, man, RJ's good, but Hunter beat RJ more than RJ beat him all summer. Same thing with Jett versus Eli. And Justin Cooper's good, and maybe that's still an advantage over Kyle Webster. But does this race actually come down to that? Or is it like it's one race, one day, and you can't just run it in a simulator? And whatever we saw for 22 motos, does that matter?
Yeah, on paper, I think like if Webster gets a top 10, it's over, right? Just because Jet and Hunter have been so dominant, and with the way that this race is, you get you don't get really any chances to miss. Not that our guys are gonna miss, but those guys were the most consistent over the summer. I mean, if you're going to any other national, I would say it's kind of a foregone conclusion. But for me, it's far from over. No race produces weirdo one-off performances like this race does, and I hope the boys have them. Like I hope that they go out there and just go all in and hold nothing back.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, again, it's one race, one first turn crash or whatever.
Exactly. It doesn't take much, like in 2019, I was talking to one of my friends earlier and he was like, "You guys got so robbed in 2019." And I genuinely feel like we were on for a podium-ish result that day, which we would have been amazing given the conditions, the sand and all the things that we kind of had went through to get there. And literally 15 seconds into the first moto, it was over. Like Justin and Jason crashed together and the day was done. Like it was, yeah, all for nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get back to that Assen bad memories for you in a moment. Actually, I'm gonna go right now. I have a hot take on this race. Glenn Coldenhoff. I think people expect him. They're like, he's a guy that always crushes at the Nations, and I'm like,
Yeah, he's particularly the guy that came to mind when I was talking about one-off weirdo performances.
I know, but I got a hot take. He was great at Red Bud in 2018. He was great at Assen in 2019. It was like rainy sand. He hasn't done that since. I feel like we have to remember conditions have a huge play here. I mean, those are Dutch conditions all the way, those 2 years.
Right. Have you seen the weather
Yeah.
for this weekend? I haven't even looked.
Dude, it's going to be great. No rain.
Yeah.
No, it's not a sand track.
No, it's definitely not a sand track. It's a great track, honestly. It's one of the best tracks we have here in America. I don't love the new configuration.
Yes.
I think like the older layout was way, way better. But yeah, those aren't my decisions. So dirt-wise, it's one of the best we have.
Did they put a GNCC wood section in there? You should be loving. You should be the only guy
Yeah.
that likes it.
I just loved like that 2014 to 17 Ironman that had like the jumps up and down the hill and then that big back straightaway. That was an epic track. I mean, I understand that it was too long for TV time and all that stuff, but yeah, it was an incredible track.
Right. Okay. So we talked Team USA. We'll talk Australia here, but you just said something really interesting. The GOAT convo might be over somewhere down the road when Jett is done. That's how good Jett Lawrence could. We know how good he is now, but that's how good he could be 10 years on.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably strong words, right? And anything
You're not
can
the first to
happen.
say it.
What?
You're not the first to say it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks that way, right? Like we've never seen anybody. I say that, but Ricky was sort of. But things are different, and it's impossible to compare eras in sport, in my opinion, because technology changes, levels change. When those guys were doing it, the gap from first to 20th was 5 seconds a lap. Now it's a second and a half. Like that changes everything in terms of results and how easy it is to come through and all that stuff. So it's really impossible to compare eras, and the only way you can really achieve that GOAT title, in my opinion, is to do something extraordinary like Ricky did with, perfect seasons and just incredible amounts of wins and all that stuff. But the potential's there for Jett to do all that, I think. If he can stay healthy, which he's done except for, his knee injury this year, but even after that he came back and won another title and threw some more motos down and won some more overalls and all that stuff. So yeah, it just depends. For me, depends on how long he can stay interested or cares to do it. Like at some point you're like, I have enough money, I have enough trophies, and see you later.
Yeah.
But if he's out for records, which he's stated a couple times, about the 72 wins, I don't know that's the biggest stretch for me, is getting to that. The rest of it, I think he can achieve. But yeah, we'll see how long he stays interested.
It's interesting that I think I know the point you're saying. The sport was so less refined when Ricky and even James came through. No one knew what anyone was doing. Some guys probably rode 4 days a week as kids. Some guys probably rode no days a week. Now everyone knows everything everyone does. There really aren't any secrets. I did not think that someone could come along and get this much of an advantage on the field. I know he's not winning by 30 seconds, but wins are wins. I didn't think at this point someone could get that big of dominance of a run in them. Is that kind of what you're saying? The sport is closer, yet he's pulled away.
Right, and he still has a gap, and you could say the same for 99% of sports out there, just like golf, technology's changed, cycling, technology's changed, nutrition's better, like all this stuff, right? So you can say that about this all the same sports, but there's like these outlier guys like Tadej Pogačar in cycling, and Scotty Scheffler in golf, and Jett, like he's an outlier. He has a little bit more than everybody else, and definitely he doesn't do those like 30-second wins like those guys RC and James used to, but he has another gear that he just doesn't play. We finally saw him play it a couple times this year. St. Louis was incredible. St. Louis SMX was incredible to watch. Just on a track where there was no passing, he passed nearly everyone from really far back, and yeah, he's a special talent.
So this is it. We know what you're going to get pretty much. If you're in a simulator, 99 of 100 times Hunter and Jett don't miss. And Webster's fine, right? No reason to think. I think he'll be even better this year than he was last year. They've really integrated him in.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit less pressure. Like last year, it was like, oh wow, this guy's coming with Jett and Hunter, and now hey, he's reigning MXDN champion and has a little bit of pedigree behind him, right? So I think it's maybe a little bit better for him. Maybe not. Maybe he's feeling it more like now I got to back that up. But I
Yeah.
doubt it. I think that they'll pull him right along.
One thing I think is underrated about this team also, it just by chance ends up being like basically just a normal Team Honda effort. So Lars even used to be part of Team Australia when he worked for Chad Reed's team. Burner works with the Lawrences. He's in the Honda truck with a Honda shirt on every weekend. He's the team manager. They've brought Webster in. He rides with them. He's riding a factory bike, basically what Hymas and Shimoda have. That's got to be an underrated part of, oh yeah, all Team Australia is in one truck, one team, same mechanics, bikes, team all year.
Yeah, and it keeps it simple. They're all right there. They don't have that home race pressure, which our guys are going to have. There's going to be a million American fans there, which is good, but it also pulls a little bit of attention and takes some time and whatnot. So all of that, plus Webster's on probably the best bike he rides all year. I mean, I know that his team, what's Quad Lock here? I don't even really know what it is there. Poly
They got
for
their own. Yeah, they got a sponsor. I don't know if it's Quad Lock.
sponsors.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you know, there's nothing wrong with that factory Honda bike, right? So for him it's just a huge level up, and like you said, they don't have all this guy's in this truck, this guy's over here, let's gather everybody up. They're already there, right? So yeah, it's pretty streamlined. And it sort of happened by accident, I would say, with him being on a Honda and the brothers being who they are and where they're at and all that stuff. So, but yeah, at the same time, it worked out for them.
yeah. They're the faves, right? It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I would say so. Um, yeah, I don't know how you could see it otherwise.
I don't know if you can. You just know it's a one-day race. Weirdo things happen all the time. I even think winning last year takes some pressure off them. They finally won,
Definitely.
so you're not getting over the hump anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like I wouldn't really say that having Deegan and Chase changed that much,
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little bit. Like I would still say that Australia kind of has the upper hand. But yeah, I still think our boys can get it done.
See, some people thought Deegan was like a real wild card because everybody's scored together overall. If Deegan were to have an unbelievable day and win a moto and shove like 10 bikes between himself and Webster and everybody else on a 250, maybe that tips it. But you don't think the difference between Deegan versus Justin Cooper is really that big of a difference?
It is. There is a difference. Justin Cooper's a great starter historically. At Assen in 19, he pulled the whole shot from the outside. I think we were like 38th of 41 or whatever, however many countries there were. He can do some cool stuff. And also, he's held that pressure before.
That's true.
And yeah, I like the Justin Cooper situation. I was hopeful that Hayden would be okay, but even had he been okay, I still don't know that okay is better than Justin Cooper at this race right now, ready to rip.
I mean, that's literally, I think, what they decided. I heard Hayden literally said, like, can I beat Justin Cooper right now in a 35-minute moto? Probably not.
Yeah.
So that's it. There's
And
your
fair
decision
enough,
right there.
fair enough. I don't know how much his hand was forced, but if it was truly his decision to say, "Hey, like I'm not good enough," then good on him. That's a big step in the right direction, I would say. Yeah, wouldn't have really expected that from some of the actions that we see from him.
Yeah, I know that was a wild one, but I think you're also weighing the risk, right? Like performance-wise, maybe he's not as good as Cooper, and then risk-wise, if he just tips over, I would
Right.
assume.
Then it's over,
Yeah,
or he goes there and he like the track gets super rough and he just can't do it. Then it's like, yeah, you're fried.
yeah. So whether it was him or the team, from what I heard, he admitted that he wasn't going to be good enough to get it done and win. So I guess good for him. You would hate the team to struggle because he decided to just take it on himself to try to be the hero when he physically couldn't be. So it's out the window. I'm going to hook up Engine Ice here. They've been doing this since 2000, starting with Jason Thomas, apparently down there in Florida. And also, they've been the #1 in our RacerX reader survey since 2015. So go to engineice.com. Available for all different power sports equipment. And if you're going to race in the mud like we often see at Motocross of Nations type conditions, not this weekend, but you're going to be glad you had Engine Ice in your bike. So thanks to them back in our show. And motosport.com. Get it on the sweepstakes. You can win a Triumph. You can go riding with Jeff Stanton. I might be working on a beta dual sport of myself, though, by the way, Zacho.
Really?
I heard they're sweet bikes.
They are. They
Yeah.
are. I've been really impressed with everything that I've experienced so far. I have not ridden 350 yet. Don't ask. I'm waiting, waiting, waiting,
Yes.
waiting. But yeah, I've had a really good time and really good experience with everything so far.
Okay, we're going to go over a couple other teams here. So the Netherlands got third last year. They will not have Jeffrey Hurlings. It's going to be discussed to death. He had a broken collarbone when they announced the team. Surely he would be able to come back from that. He did. He ended up ripping at the end of the GPs. He's not on the team. I don't think the team is just stupid. Like, I think maybe he just wasn't expressing interest in racing. There's no way the Netherlands team is like, oh, Jeffrey Hurlings is Dutch? We weren't aware.
Yeah.
Like, something else has got to be going on there. That's
Well,
just my assumption.
I mean, the obvious is just a team move, I think, but it's only, an extra 10 days of riding or waiting or whatever. So it was a bit of a strange move, but maybe he has something else going on that he needed to get fixed right away after the season. I don't know. It's a bummer because otherwise they're a contender also.
Oh, yeah. So they got Koldenhoff, DeWolf, and Vlanderen. So let's talk Koldenhoff here. I already said I think people are thinking he could, at this race, he's going to rise up and go 1-1 again. I don't think that's on the table. But what about DeWolf? You can talk about Koldenhoff if you want, but DeWolf, America needs to see what this guy has.
Yeah. Holding off, I don't see that he has that sort of performance
Right.
left in him. But
Yeah.
again, like it's just one of those deals where you get three guys that are the right guys in the first turn that are down together, and Shazam, it's somebody wins.
Yeah.
But DeWolf, I think he's an incredible talent. I know there's some level of interest of coming here to race full time. Still super young. I think he's only 21, 22, so plenty of time. And I think he's going to be. I was really looking forward to the Deegan DeWolf battle, but yeah, I think he's going to be probably the standout 250 guy aside from Justin Cooper.
Okay. But Cooper could win MX2. You
Yeah,
think?
I think he can win MX2.
That would be big. And then Calvin Vlanderen, I don't know. I mean, there are weekends where he can battle anybody, and then there are weekends where he just can't. I don't know. And it's not just on the sand tracks. Like
It's
some weekends
more
he's good on
sand
any track.
tracks. It's more sand tracks.
It is okay.
Yeah, it happens occasionally, not on the sand track, but every year you can count on them at like Riola, Lommel, wherever the good sand tracks are. You can kind of count on it being more in the mix. But even saying that, I think he was still fifth in the World Championship this year, quietly, respectfully. But yeah, I just feel like they needed Jeffrey to really cap it off.
Oh yeah, if you had the veteran anchor Koldenhoff, who's always decent at least, and DeWolf and Jeffrey.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a team that can easily contend for a podium and win in the right situation.
yeah. I mean, dude, Jeffrey was ripping. What did he do? Win 3 of the last 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Wild, man. Can't keep him down.
Nope.
Spain finished 4th last year. The amount of time that I've spent talking about Jorge Prado throughout the summer. Do you have any thoughts? He's not on the team. I don't believe Kawasaki or anyone. Kawasaki was not lending him out his deal. They weren't going to support him for this. Do you have any Prado thoughts?
What a mess. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how it got here. I don't know how it got this bad. I don't know. Yeah. Oh well. I don't see how, in order to rescue this scenario, there's got to be some serious results next year. no matter what he does, whether he stays or goes or whatever, he's got some serious work to do.
I just want to know this. I did not realize there are some fans that are thinking, well, we just saw that those guys are inferior to these guys. There's no way that's what it is, right?
No, it's not the case. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how he was so bad, like, and I'm not saying that out of disrespect. I'm saying that because he was uh, great the last couple of years, battling with the best in of the best in the MXGP class, winning world titles. Like, yeah, I don't know how he got here is the thing. And yeah, I don't know how you fix it either.
Yeah. But he's a great rider. Like, that's the thing. We know
Incredible
that.
rider. Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible rider. Not qualifying and that kind of stuff. Like, come on, guy. Like, it's not even realistic.
No. So I don't know. Hopefully next year.
I don't
Because
know,
I
man.
always say it's good to have more guys in the mix. And
Yeah,
he certainly should be.
it's discouraging because I'm sure that guys from there, like, that have aspirations of coming are kind of like, oh, I don't think that they doubt themselves as much as like scenarios, team scenarios, or just leaving the comfort of what they have there to come here and maybe have the same thing happen.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. You're right. There's maybe a bigger divide than you would think where it's not
Yeah,
just
it
plug and
made the
play.
step harder, which, I would have thought, like, the hope is, right, is that he comes here, he's on a factory team, he does well, he learns Supercross over the 3-year deal that he had, and becomes somewhat successful, like, podium top 5 kind of guy, and stays for a while. And like, if I'm DeWolf or somebody like that, that's what I'm looking to see. Like, okay, this is doable. Like, I can move there and I can get the job done. And I feel like it has done the opposite.
No, it's true. And then everybody else that moved. It's not like Tom Viel sucked in his first year and needed
Right.
2 years to figure it out. Or
Yeah.
Guillaume came here and he's basically where he normally is, here or there.
Yeah.
That's makes it so weird. So
I
their
honestly
team,
think that
yeah,
Gio's a better marker of the level on both sides than Jorge
totally.
is, for sure.
He was, if his results were, if anything, better or at least the same
Yeah.
as he did over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the level is very close. I actually think that we on this side have closed the gap a little bit. I think that a couple years ago they were considerably better. Like, they were a lot better. And I don't know if that has to do with just how much kind of the bikes have progressed, and kind of closed that works gap a little bit with electronics and that kind of stuff. Maybe something, but it's definitely come down a little bit, I think, and I think we're closer than ever.
I got a crazy factor here. Jett Lawrence has been in the 450 class, had a perfect season in 2023. This is 3 years. Doesn't that just pull everybody up when you got that guy?
Oh, definitely, yeah, and that goes back to kind of the thing that we were talking about earlier with him being that guy. I think that a rising tide raises all ships, right? So I think that he's pushed the level a little bit. It's forced the hand of other guys, but like, the one of the most impressive things about all that is still in the mix is Eli. Still winning races, still battling for titles. Give or take, and being in the mix. It's like, so he is better, Jett, but at the same time, Eli's still there.
Yeah. No, it's not winning by a minute, and Eli's getting 8th or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Spanish team is Ruben Fernandez, Guillaume Ferez. I'm just pumped that this kid's back. We're gonna see him in the United States. They pulled him off the grocery shelves.
Yeah.
Like he was a grocer in Spain. Got an 8-star Yamaha. Got a top
Actually?
10. Got a Rockstar ride.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's the real deal. We had a joke going, Zacho, where we're like, how far down does Star have to go for a guy to not get top 10 on their bike outdoors? It's like, could they get a guy who never rode before and do it? So,
Grocery getter can do it.
dude is unbelievable. But then he was on Husky. They've obviously contracted their team. They had fewer riders. There was no place for him to go. He ends up on Triumph over there, but he was decent.
Yeah, he's had a good year. I think he missed a couple races at the beginning because of the previous injury, right? But yeah, it's kind of come good again, and I think he's back at Triumph next year.
Yep.
As far as I know.
Yep.
And yeah, also his teammate Camden McClellan, a South African kid, kind of an unknown. Got his first podium this year. He's been super solid too. So it's cool to see some different scenarios.
There we go. Okay, the French team, you used to have to square up with these guys. They're always better than even the amount of talent that they have. So they have Fevre. Okay, Fevre is a known commodity. He just won the MXGP title again. Maxime Renault. Do we know what we're going to get out of this guy?
He's another one of those guys that I kind of thought of like could have a weirdo win a moto. And you could be 15th also. You don't know. But you know, Fev's the known guy. Like you said, just won a world championship. Super cool. He's like one of the good guys of the world, you know. So I was stoked to see that. And I think he can race at the front as well. You know, I don't think there's any shortage of um want to or know how to do the job there. Um Renault, yeah, like I said, maybe he wins a moto and it puts him in contention. He is good enough. He's a pretty mega talent. A few years ago, whenever he went to the 450 class after his MX2 title, I was kind of like, what? Like that's way premature. You know, stay down, win
Yes.
another title. You're just getting sort of finding winning success and all that stuff. And yeah, he won GPs in his first year in the 450 class in MX1. Um, it's tough to say. You just never know what you're gonna get.
Now, what I'm worried about with the French team is they don't have Tom Vial. The ship has run out on him and KTM. He's switching to Honda and he's going to race 450s and GPs next year. So this is where I need your expertise. Verlaine. Is that a huge weak link or typical French? Can they still contend even with probably who would be their second best 250 guy?
I don't think they can contend, maybe for a podium. You know, kind of the best of the rest after the USA and Australia. But yeah, not having Vial is a huge weak link, and not having Renault in like mid-season good form, end of season good form, it hurts. So yeah, a villain, he's okay. Young kid, just got a MX2 opportunity this year from the Cowie team. Ice won. I think he won a qualifying race, but it was a super mud race. I don't remember where, a couple rounds ago, 5 or 6 rounds ago. But yeah, I don't think he's not Tom Vial level guy.
Do you think the French always had this huge advantage we kind of found out, and then you really tried to spearhead efforts to catch them off the track? They had chefs and they had masseuses and they had team training together and all this. Do you think that other teams have closed that gap? So the French always being like 10% better than even the talent they had. I don't know if that's as much of an advantage anymore. I think other people have learned to at least get closer.
Well, when you have brothers, it's pretty tough to get closer than that, right? And
Good
they're
point.
really freaking good at it too. Yeah, I don't think that their gap is there like they had. You know, I first experienced that in 6 days when I went to Sardinia in 2013, and they literally had all French food. They had chefs. They had everything, and I'm like, wow, like we got to level up this whole deal. And the 6 days team has since leveled up a lot. One closed that gap and won the overall a couple times. But same for the Motocross Nations team. They're just really tight knit. But I think that we've kind of closed that gap. I still think the American team could just be overall just smaller, like less people, like and I don't even know how to do that because there's tons of donors, there's people that have been involved forever that you don't want to just like be like see you later. But like if there's some way to like make a like an inner circle and then like the rest, you know, the rest of the team sort
Yes.
of thing. But yeah, I don't know how to do that without offending a bunch of people. I wouldn't care to do it, but I'm not I'm not in charge. I have put my name forward many times to help out. So maybe someday that comes to fruition.
Oh, you have? You
Yeah,
wouldn't mind being involved?
I'd love to be involved.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The infrastructure they had last year in England, you would have been proud. I have to imagine it was a big step up from where you were in England in, what was that, 2017? It had really come a long way. I was pretty proud to see it.
Yeah, that's good news. It's a large machine, you know. A lot of attention, a lot of people, and yeah, I don't know how you fix that side of it, but keeping it smaller for the guys is pretty key in my mind. And it's hard to do, especially at a home race, you know. Like I said, it's going to take some attention, some time from them, but it's just part of it.
So that's another reason why the Australian thing of this just their normal stuff that helps.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like
Yeah.
they don't have that home race pressure. They don't have, they're all like you said, they're all in the same semi. It's literally the perfect storm.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, let's talk about the Belgian team. Their chances are pretty good. They're pretty solid across the board, but I want to specifically talk about Lucas Koenen, who a lot of Americans probably don't really know about. He's actually a year younger than Hayden Deegan. He's 18. He decided to, KTM, I think, got a spot to fill when Prado left. So he raced the 450 class. He almost beat Fevra for the title this year at 18. He might be the next superstar here, and fans don't even know it. So how motivated do you think this guy is, Team Belgium, to show everyone?
I think he's probably highly motivated after just losing a world championship in a very close race for a long time, except for like the last 2 rounds. Fev kind of opened it up a little bit. And yeah, he's pretty sensational. Still has some like young, funky mistakes that happen. I don't think he's a Jett level talent, but he's really, really good.
Do you think there's a chance that he's thinking, like, I'm going to show everybody this weekend? Like, some guys are up for this race, some guys are not. He's got something on the table, I would think, here.
Oh yeah, I think he's all in. Just trying to win motos more than anything. Who's the third rider? Geertz?
So, no, it's actually Everts on a big bike.
Oh, Liam on a big bike. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad team either, though,
No.
right? Like as a whole, they're pretty good. And then Sasha, he makes some weird mistakes too, but seems to be like Gumby, like just never hurt, like just yards himself up, bounces back up, see you later.
Dude, the crashes are unbelievable.
Yeah.
So these are twins. Not just the Lawrences who are brothers. These are two Belgian twins with the Koenens.
But they're
Sasha's
totally different size and look completely different.
One's tall and one's tiny. It's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Sasha, the starts are ridiculous. Maybe it helps that he weighs about 100 pounds. But the starts in the 250 class are nuts.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really important going into this weekend. I think that in my opinion, the most important score is whatever the 1/250 score is that you have to take, or you can't, if you want to win, you can't have any you can't lose any 450 scores. Those need to be like 1s, 2s, 3s, like along those lines. But if you can get a 250 with a 3 or a 4 or a 5 that gets a good start, gets out of the carnage and is up in there, that's where the race is won.
Yeah. And Sasha, the littler, not younger, but the littler twin, he's capable of it. If he keeps it on 2 wheels, he's capable of it, right?
Yeah, he can do it. He's a great rider. He's won Grand Prix this year and been solid. So yeah, it's all to play for.
Okay, I want to talk about the German team. First of all, I feel like we're not seeing the classic Ken Roxson. Awesome that he's at the race. Good for the fans. But 2023 won his darn class at this race. But he also almost beat Jett Lawrence at High Point. I don't think we're seeing that Ken Roxson, especially in motocross right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't really know why, other than just age. Like he's getting a little older, takes a little more time to be like, perfectly sharp. And he's been hurt a little bit. Hasn't really had the time to put in to be able to be on that, sharp level. So, I don't think he's gonna win any motos, but again, like, is it another potential podium team? I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think Simon's really good. It just depends so much on, like, even the qualifying race is so important for gate picks. The second gate pick, like if you get 10th and if you qualify 10th, you get 10 and 30. Like 30 is
Yeah.
not great, but if you qualify second or third, you get 3 and 23, which makes a big difference with the way these starts are laid out. So yeah, it really just depends a lot on start and a little bit also on the qualifying race, like I said.
Yeah, so Simon Langenfelder is the MX2 world champ. So they got two good guys on Germany. He has not had great results at this race. Do we read into that at all? Or is he like, nah, he's good. He could win MX2 class this weekend?
I don't think he can. I don't think he's a favorite by any means. Can he?
Okay.
Sure. But I think there's, I would put J. Coop,
DeWolf?
DeWolf,
Adamo?
Kunin, Adamo, maybe. I mean, it's possible, right?
Yep.
So that he's in the mix of those 4 or 5 after DeWolf and J. Coop.
Okay, but not. Don't assume because he's the MX2 champ, he's the best guy in the 250 class. It's not that simple.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah. DeWolf has some speed, no doubt. But congrats to Langenfelder. And that always the problem for Germany is to try to come up with a third guy. So they got Max Spies. That's their goal to get a solid result. But this isn't the Ken Roxon winning motos days either.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I understand. And they have to do what they have to do, right? I don't know why Max Spies was the guy. I feel like Tim Cook would have been a little bit maybe better. He's normal regular GP guy.
That's true.
Um, I don't know. There's always things that we don't know, and politics and injuries and other stuff.
The Italian team has Antonio Caroli, who I thought rode awesome when he had these two nationals that he raced here this year. I think people assume because it's Ducati that everything's like super trick and works. They basically had like a prototype of a production bike when he's at these races. They don't have any like special parts for it. Over there, they probably do. He can race that works bike at this event. But to me, seeing how stock his bike was, the guy's 40 now. He was like battling like legit dudes for 8th place at Southwick and Redbud.
Yeah, that just shows you how good he really is. Also, he's never really stopped riding. Like I don't think since he retired, he's never really just stopped riding. And so you can keep a good level if you do that. And I think he's a beneficiary of that. I've seen some videos of him riding. I think he's running like factory connection suspension from here. So evidently they like that from his time here. So I'm interested to see what he can do.
Were you impressed though? Like, I know you have maybe more respect for him than anyone because you used to race him, but I was really impressed how good he was. Technically, he's been retired for 4 years.
Yeah, I was. It's not easy. Like even if you do continue riding, like I said, you can keep the speed, but fitness is not easy. And when you don't have to just dig, it's hard. It's harder. You know, it's not that easy. But he seems to be able to do it pretty good. So yeah, I was pretty impressed with him.
And they got Bonacorsi, who's a solid GP guy, and then Adamo, who on certain weekends, so he won the MX2 title a couple of years ago. On certain weekends,
Yeah,
he's
he was
still the
in the
best
thick of
MX2
it
rider.
for like yeah, 2/3 of the season. Before DeWolf kind of got going again. Um, yeah, he was right there. Again, I think this is more like a podium setup team. Not really a winning team. I think the win is between the two favorites, but this team can podium.
One more guy I want to ask you about is Joe Shimoda on a 450. Yeah.
Yep. Saw him riding it last week at Sandbox.
Yep. In person?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
I think he's riding open, right? Or MX1
Yes, you're right. He is.
open.
Yep.
So I think that puts him against some different guys, and if he can get a start, he could, potentially win a qualifying race. If he wins, I think that would put them in. You don't want to be in the B. No, you don't think so?
No, as I'm saying, yeah, I think at that point it almost doesn't matter what the
Yeah,
other guys do.
yeah. That's how. Like I was saying earlier, I got us in with a second in England the one year, for Puerto Rico with Tara Geiger. She got like 29th or 30th in the
Yeah.
race, and we still got in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that for Joe, he's probably not going there for anything other than to say like, here's me on a 450, and I think he's in a good spot to kind of show what he's got.
It's one of the funniest, most overused phrases in racing. The 450 suits the style. Everybody says that. But I actually think it does for Joe.
Yeah, but he's just like so sound technically, like technique wise, he's so sound, and he rides the bike really nice, and not a rever, like I quite enjoy watching Joe ride because he's so opposite to me. Like I wish I could ride like that and still go fast. So yeah, I think he's gonna surprise some people on the 450. I think he's already in a good spot with the setting and everything from what I saw last week. I think he could go there and be like, oh wow, that's Joe Shimoda on a 450. We need some of that.
And then there's one other like wild card like that, which is Tim Geyser, who's been working his way back up. He was pretty good toward the end of the year, right? Maybe not back at his
Yeah,
normal level, but
not
decent.
normal level, but good enough. And yeah, I love watching Tim ride. I think he's awesome. He's a great champion, super humble dude. I remember seeing him and his dad traveling around Europe in this completely piece of crap, little yellow van. And that, like, when they would open the doors, like, stuff would fall out because they had so much stuff packed in there. Um, and yeah, to see where he's at now is incredible. He's a great champion. And I think, I don't really put him in the mix for like winning motos, but you know, proper Geyser could win motos. But I think he's just a tick off of his normal self. He had a huge injury to his shoulder with a huge crash, just a massive hit. Um, and yeah, I think he's come back well. But when you miss that middle part of the season doing anything, it's hard to find the level again because each race weekend, each week, those guys are making gains, just marginal gains, but some gains. So it's tough to get back up to that level again.
Okay. All right. Overall, man, the feelings of this race. Gosh, you didn't get to race it in 2018. When you went down with injury, what was that? A Thunder Valley,
Yeah,
2018?
Thunder Valley.
How quickly did you realize, oh, not only am I not going to be able to defend my 250 motocross title, but that had to also run through your mind. You would have loved to race Redbud, I'm sure.
Yeah, it did. I actually like pretty quickly was like texting Mike like, "Hey, I think I can be ready." But
Okay.
obviously, that's not really fair to AP, who was the champion that year, to be like, "We're gonna take this injured guy because he loves this race," So
Yes.
I get it. But yeah, I was devastated. I hate that I don't have a trophy from there. I hate that I never got to win that race. Because it's probably my favorite. It is my favorite race of the year. Probably the most special race to me, each year. Um, I hate it.
But it works well for us now because you're a guy who like really thinks about it, really studies it, and
Yeah,
really, I guess, gets how important it is.
yeah, I do. I understand the importance of it. I think it's a must. Like I said, in 23, I was happy to pay whatever. Most of the years I spent tens of thousands of dollars anyway, so didn't really matter what was one more year.
Yeah, yeah, I guess one way to look at it. Puerto Rico years, yeah, I had to spend some money.
No, no, not Puerto Rico years. They were
Wait,
simple.
really?
Yeah, no, they were easy. Um, the year in Assen was quite expensive because we went early and
Oh yeah,
our family
yeah.
and those years were expensive. But the year the first year I did it for Puerto Rico was in England, and I don't even think I spent any money. Like, probably made money to go.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you live there, right?
yeah, yeah. And then the second time I went was in Thunder Valley. Um, I don't even remember. Yeah, I think they paid for everything there. So, um, yeah, it was more the American years where I spent some money.
Wow, wow. Hey, I said that you helped invent Hunter Lawrence, so it was not looking good for the team in England. That would have been 2017, right?
Yeah,
But you were pretty good in the Saturday race, and it was like, hey, at least we got Zacko. We can brag about Zacko. But then this Australian kid brought the heat.
yeah. The Saturday race at Matterley was like one of the best rides of my life. Highly, yeah, underrated, I guess, or like no one even really knows about it. But I think we had again like 37th gate pick or whatever. I started way back, like 25th. Finally caught Hunter on the last lap, and passed him for the win. And yeah, there was one of those days for me where like just being on the bike was so easy. Like, the traction was Velcro, could put no foot wrong, and yeah, it was an incredible race. But that was, yeah, the start of Hunter, I guess, really, right? I springboarded him. No, just kidding. But
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but what I was getting at is he was a pretty good talent at that time, and then he showed at that race, if Americans hadn't been paying attention, that he had some potential. But the level he's at now, did you foresee this level? Like he might be the second best rider in the world right now.
no, of course not. I mean, no one did, right? But the road that they've had is pretty wild. I was with Dazzy a couple years ago at a friend's birthday party, and we were just kind of exchanging war stories about being in Europe, and this was like 2021 or 2022, so they weren't even really like crushing it yet. They've had a road, they've had a road. I often tell people, like, someone gave me this metaphor. It's not of my own. But there's two types of people. There's weeds and there's flowers. Flowers can only grow where there's perfect dirt, perfect weather. Things are delicate, And there's weeds, which weeds can grow in out of concrete, right? And I was like, I'm a weed, and those boys, Jet and Hunter both, they have the talent of Flowers. They have the work ethic of Flowers or of Weeds, and they have the conditions of they have had the conditions of Weeds. So they've flourished as Flowers from Weeds conditions, and that's freaking hard to beat, man. Like the roots are strong, they're tough, they got a good support system. It's pretty impressive.
Hey, would you ever think if you're some hotshot American amateur and their dad comes up and is like, hey, what do you recommend? I'm starting to wonder if sending them on that road just for a year or two might be a good way to go.
The Euro way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. And the feeder system that they have there with the European 125 and the European 250 class, like it's awesome. I wouldn't trade my Europe experience for anything. It made me who I am, and that's easy to see, easy to say. Um, but yeah, if I had a kid that wanted to race, I wouldn't be afraid of that at all. Like, hey, let's pack. Ben's doing it with his kids right now. Ben Townley, the whole family, like, hey, we're going to Europe for 6 months. We're going to race dirt bikes. I'm like, fair play. Like, you've already done it once, and now you want to
Yeah.
do it again for your kids.
Yeah.
But he knows the value of it. He was a champion because of it, just like I was. He sees the value and he understands it. I would definitely not discourage anyone from going.
Yeah, think of that as an option. Yeah, I mean, we told your story a million times, but there's no doubt that it helped. All right, Zacho, thanks for the input. Not going to go this weekend? Are you going to be there?
I'm not going to be there this weekend. Staying home. It's my daughter's birthday. Otherwise, I would
Okay.
definitely be there. But yeah, I'll be watching.
But if Team USA needed some assistance, you'd be more than glad to become part of the program.
Oh yeah, always.
That's good to hear because there's been some changes. Roger DeCoster's retired. He's moved on. But I don't know, man. You never know. There might be a spot for you.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Okay. Glad you're into it. All right. Thanks for the time. Thanks to Motorsport and Engine Ice. And enjoy the races, everybody. Thanks, Zach.